Well, hello again to all the boys and girls out there in YouTube land watching Georgia Beer Reviews. Back at you today with another one. What I'm looking at is a beer from Tox Brewing Company. This is the Inky Cap. Inky Cap. Those are mushrooms on the label. Mushroom cap. There are no mushrooms in this beer, but this is an Imperial Stout aged on pistachio nuts, vanilla beans, and cacao nibs. It clocks in at 13% alcohol by volume. So Tox Brewing Company, I looked it up, is out of New London, Connecticut. However, when you look at the side of the label here, it says brewed and packaged by by 12% North Haven, Connecticut. 12% is the people that do a lot of stuff for Evil Twin and other breweries as well, but Evil Twin is one that comes to mind. So 12% is contract brewing this beer for Tox Brewing Company, which is out of, I don't know why I can't remember this. So New London, Tox Brewery is in New London, Connecticut. This is contract brewed in North Haven, Connecticut by 12% for Tox Brewery. And they do have a website, toxbrewing.com. All right, this beer is courtesy of Mr. Bumpy Road Brewery. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Link to his channel in the description below. If you haven't already checked him out, go do so. Tell him John and Ellie sent you. It's a store called Drink Fresh. I've had this in the fridge for a little while. It was canned on February 24th, 2022, so I would say that's pretty fresh for a 13% stout. So I'm really interested about the pistachio nuts to see if they come through on the palate, because I do love pistachios. But typically when pistachios are brewed in some way with a stout, I've had a few stouts that have pistachios in them, and they don't come across. So this one is not barrel aged, it's pistachio aged. It's aged on pistachio nuts. So this pour is super thick. Pretty close to motor oil with the pour on that. The head is beige, very dark, dissipating quickly. The appearance jet black. Can't see through it at all. No light coming through it. All right, let's get an aroma. Dark chocolate, vanilla, dark toasted bread from the roasted malt. Oh, they do, so vanilla beans, okay. So the vanilla that I'm getting, I guess, is from the vanilla beans that they added to this beer. There's a little bit of a berry note, kind of like a blackberry, raspberry, which sometimes you get, or sometimes I get, with these higher ABV type stouts, especially the barrel-aged ones. This one's not barrel-aged, it's just aged on all of the stuff that I mentioned, the pistachio nuts, vanilla beans, and cacao nibs. Smells very nice. No boozy characteristics whatsoever on the aroma. It does have a little bit of a nutty aroma as well, but it's not coming across necessarily as pistachio. I'm hoping that I get some pistachio flavor on the palate, but we'll find out here in a second. So, smells really great. Looking forward to getting into this. So, without further ado, let's get into this brew. Cheers. Vanilla, chocolate. There's a nuttiness in there. I will say that the pistachio is subtle, but it does come through a little bit, which is more than I can say for pretty much any other pistachio beer that I've had up to this point. Pistachios just don't translate well in beer as far as the flavor. This one, it's there a little bit, which I'm really digging. It's got a nice creamy, smooth mouthfeel, chocolate, vanilla. The nutty characteristics are definitely coming through. It's sweet, but it's not too sweet. It's got some nice bready malt character in the middle of the sip, some nice darkly toasted bread notes. This is good. I'm not getting any berries so far. I hadn't translated to the palate yet, but let me get another sip. I don't know why creme brulee just kind of popped in my head, but there's a little bit of like a custardy dessert in there. This is really good. It's definitely a sipper. It is heavy. It is full-bodied, heavy mouthfeel. It's creamy. It's thick, motor oil thick. It finishes heavy as well. It's not clinging to the inside of my cheeks, which is a good thing. Sometimes you get these super sweet, motor oil thick, heavy stouts that do stick and linger for an unpleasant amount of time. This one is not doing that. Carbonation with this is actually pretty significant for a 13% stout. I think maybe the fact that this one has not been barrel aged lends to the extra carbonation that you usually do not find in this ABV range for this style of beer in particular. It's definitely malt forward pretty much all the way through. A little bit of nuttiness, the dark chocolate and the bready notes are coming through, darkly toasted bread notes, but it doesn't translate to a coffee, astringent type note, even though it is very roasty, toasty in the middle of the sip. The finish, it's wet and creamy and heavy, and you gotta just be careful. Well, I mean, 13%, you gotta be careful with any 13% beer, but this one definitely doesn't drink like a 13%, so you could probably get through it quickly, although I think you'd be one and done with this because the body and the mouthfeel are just so full and heavy. I don't think you could drink too much of this. All that being said, this is an outstanding beer. I really think they hit the nail on the head with this one. The flavors are there, even getting a little bit of the pistachio notes, which I really was not expecting because typically that's kind of a gimmick, and the pistachio, or the beers that I've had, most of them porter stouts that have pistachio nuts, aged on pistachio nuts or added pistachio nuts or whatever, that flavor doesn't typically translate to the beer, but in this case it does a little bit, which is nice. I would have liked more, but it's still great. I'm going to go with a 96 out of 100. It's definitely a solid 8 getting up there. Really amazing stuff from Tox Brewing Company. If you can find this beer in your area, it's definitely worth a shot. Thanks again to Bumpy Road for providing me with this beer. I will post a link to his channel in the description below, as well as, yeah, right there. Click his icon there, and you can go to his channel that way. So that'll do it for this beer review, guys. 96 out of 100 for the Tox Brewing Company Inky Cap Imperial Stout aged on pistachio nuts, vanilla beans, and cacao nibs. Hope you're all having a wonderful day, and until next time, everybody, cheers.